Hi, I'm Gail Damiano, high performance intuitive coach, motivational speaker, sober mom boss. I work with women who want to learn how to tune into their own intuition, to their highest mind, and find their aligned path in life and blow the doors off of their expectations. My clients and I work together to not only transform their entire internal life, but their external life. They don't just recognize themselves at the end of the journey. They've created all kinds of magic in their lives, and it can be a dream job, starting a new business, finding a new relationship. Find me at gaildamiano.com. Check out what I'm up to and send me a message, and let's get the conversation started. Also, while you're here, don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I am on my journey to introduce you to my magnificent mompreneurs. I think this is going to be like a season 1 because I've already had a lot of moms reaching out to me who are interested. So stay tuned for that. I'm here today with the magnificent Amelia Felbinger. And I'm just going to jump right in and get into these questions with her. So Amelia, number 1, what is your favorite way to introduce yourself to other people?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Gail. I introduce myself as a speaker who has spent over a decade performing as an actor on New York stages, followed by years in leadership coaching. So I have the unique ability to take an actor's skill set and teach it to you as a very unique and effective way to improve your life and your mind and get different results.
Awesome. Sign me up.
Right?
Hey, if we're not here to help each other, then what the hell are we here for, right?
Exactly.
So cool. I love that. I love the integration between the two worlds. And I remember when it was still a new idea for you, how do I integrate these ideas of the actor, bringing the actor's mind? I love it. I love it. So what is your best advice for new moms who are also running their own business?
I love this question so much. My first piece of advice is that it gets better. That I heard sometimes and it annoyed me. But my second piece of advice is that actually this is an incredibly powerful time for you. I found that there was never any prior time in my super organized A-type personality life where I was so, fully engulfed and eclipsed and hobbled.
That's a good word.
That I was never so on with what felt like, no off button, like emotionally, physically, mentally, all of those things. And on the surface, these things could really stop you in your tracks, but you can use it as fuel in this time, even though you're beyond exhausted. So with a business and clear goals, if you have those things, and you're also fresh on the heels of knowing just how powerful you are having given birth, and even if you're really rolled by the experience that comes after that sometimes lasts for a couple of years, you really have gotten a new taste of how powerful you are. And so even if you're single-handedly juggling all kinds of things, and which you do, even when you have an excellent partner, which I have, you can actually become more efficient than ever. And this was the thing that I realized that made me tick in those times. So, and you and I have spoken about this as well. So when you feel that you have almost no time and hardly any energy, it actually is an opportunity like no other to become like an arrow in a way that you might not have used to be. So you're forced into this reality, and you really have to live the less is more principle. And if you really buy into that, you'll find it's life-changing. You have to become more flexible than ever. You're not the one in charge. The baby is in charge, and your life feels more in charge, but you can be more in charge if you're able to choose flexible instead of frustrated, which isn't always easy. But if you do that, then it will really start to flow. So you have tiny slices of time. You think you might know where they might be in your day. More often than not, especially in the early months and even year, that changes. Those time slots changes. So even though those shift, you have lined up yourself in advance. You've lined up the most important things that have to get done. And here's where the special spot is for me, because it used to be when I had all the time in the world, even though I didn't think I did have time then, but I did.
Yeah.
Tons of it.
Tons of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I did a lot of stuff, and I was used to doing a lot of stuff, like A-type, get it all done. But you're forced to, if you're going to get anything done, you're forced to do the most important things first. You can't do the fluff, and you realize how much time you spent kind of doing the fluff, which is valid and needs to get done stuff. And the most important stuff, I at least tended to procrastinate on, right? And I think this might be the pattern with most people.
Most people, you're right. Mm-hmm.
But the gift of having no time, no energy, no nothing, that you feel like you're suffocating, is that you actually, you do the important things first. And you realize that if you do that, even if it's just the one thing a day, it still moves the needle. And when you can give yourself the gift of moving your own needle amidst this new world that you're in, then you realize that really you're capable of anything. And then over time, you get a little more space, you get a little more leverage. You do know when the naps are. Mm-hmm. You are better at asking for what you need. Maybe you do get a nanny or more help. But you've proven to yourself that gift that you can make it happen. And then it's a gift to carry forward, because still doing the most important things first, you can ingrain in yourself as a habit that makes you even more effective later, and things just get more and more empowering and satisfying.
I love that so much. There's so many nuggets of that. I'm just like, I got my pen handy, I'm writing stuff down. But, so I got to say the little tiny windows of time that you find is, so my child is going to be 18 months old this week already. And you're exactly right. There's these little windows of time where you're like, okay, I've literally got 30 minutes, or I've literally got 5 minutes, or whatever the thing is, when I've got somebody to watch the child for a moment, not including nanny time, which was a blessing when it's around, but it's not always around. So taking that, the list of things that you want to do, and like you said, making an arrow, shoot like an arrow, you literally will aim at the things that you want to do number one most. I will say that I still struggle though with not always doing the most important thing first, which for me is having sales calls. Like as a someone who's in business for myself, I have to talk to people on the phone and make sales, right? So I don't always do that because I'm usually have a child who is vocal, very vocal in my arms or right nearby. So it's not as exactly, so all the new moms out there, hang on, because it's going to get easier. Maybe easier is the wrong word. You'll get more used to it. I mean, what's the
different?
Really different. Yeah. But I have to say something that came up for me recently, which is interesting. It actually surprised me. Somebody said to me, oh, what did she say? She said, you are, she reached out to me she wanted to talk to me about, consult with me. And she said, you are I want to say dynamo, something like that. You are all over the place. I see you're constantly, you're very good on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, and you're everywhere. And I thought, wow, that's interesting coming from somebody I haven't talked to in like 2 years. And she's one of those stalkers she doesn't like any of my posts. I don't know if she's there. And I'm of the mind, I got to do more and all these things. I'm always stretching for more and more and more and fine tuning things. So when I hear that coming from someone else, I'm like, okay, I'm actually making it. It does make a difference. All these little windows of time that I have to like post an insight or tell people to just keep going or talk about my new program or whatever the thing is, those little nuggets, they do add up. So suddenly I'm like, oh, I'm getting feedback from someone unsolicited. And that was really interesting. Not that social media presence is, everything at all whatsoever, but it's been a big focus for me. And I was like really surprised to hear that. So I was like, okay, all those little moments just add up. So that's good. So that's my little aside. All right, back to you. I want to ask you this. When you trace your steps from where you were 10 years ago, go back in where you were 10 years ago, you can see the arc of circumstances and the hard work that brought you to where you are right now, right? Tell us briefly about your real people magic story and how you got it here today.
Totally. I love tracing steps. First of all, it always lets the worry meter chill out on your worry on your progress meter. Chill out, because if you really trace your steps, you do realize that every single thing along the way served a purpose. When you thought something wasn't happening so much, you understand later what it was for and what it was bringing to light. All those things. It's incredibly comforting to do that. So everything serves. And I do love my journey because it does feel like a perfect storm. And I look forward to all the rest of the storming that's going to come to fruition. So always in my life, it was acting, wanting to be an actor, doing acting for years and years and years. And then in came the desire for entrepreneurship to create leverage, economic leverage and more freedom to act and create as I want to. And then on the heels of that came marriage and family, which gave birth to a whole new amped sense of entrepreneurship. And the acting went on the back burner for several years, but I was very motivated in the entrepreneur arena. And this was in sales and sales coaching. And in the sales coaching, I was very into, the coaching of the women to develop their mindset, to be able to do the things required in a sales position and to grow themselves with personal development so that they could grow their business. So really, I operated from the core of personal development world, which I loved incredibly, incredibly much. It wagged my tail just as much as acting. And then as life kept unfolding, just in this past full whole year and a few months in addition, the idea of, I started speaking at my sales conferences because I became a national leader in the company and the Stellan. And I got really great feedback, like really good response from my rather motivating speeches that I would give at conference. And I really, a light turned on, like, oh, I should go more in this direction. I love it. And it was a way to be back on stage while positively empowering people. And then the Big Talk Academy, which you and I attended together and wrote talks in together, came to be. And through that, I really discovered my new platform, which is teaching acting as a personal development tool, from which I get to do now from stages, virtual stages, and then I'm developing courses that can be taken. I've already taught a workshop in person and also an accompanying book. So it's very clear how each thing led to the other. And now it's this delicious soup of creativity and purpose from all of life that has preceded.
Delicious soup of creativity and purpose. I just love your phrases. I mean, I can't get enough of them. I'm just going to use these as like hashtags when I'm posting for this video. This is great. All of that is wonderful. I have so much just love for you and what you're doing and just seeing your journey over the years. I love it. And you, whether you know it or not, are inspiring me to also, try to keep in lockstep with the people that I see like you who are doing the thing they want to do. Because when I have a day where I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this thing today, or, that was on my list, but maybe I'll do it tomorrow. It's like, no. People like Amelia and Trisha and people that we know that are really moving and shaking, right? Who are really doing it. They're not taking a day off. I've got to do this. So thank you for, being yourself and doing your thing. And, I hear it from people too. How the heck, I can't keep up with you. You're always doing something. It's like, good, because you can do it too if you want to. We're shining examples for people, mothers who really want to jump into the entrepreneurship, pool soup and take it on, right? Because it is doable. It's not something that, sure, there's going to be pressure, but it's not something that you have to, wake up and kick yourself for doing every day. Because I coach women too, and I've coached women through changes in, their jobs that they were not aligned to, that they despised, that were soul sucking, and just seeing that transition from stepping out even into a different job or into entrepreneurship is a whole light goes off. And it's just like, it's so beautiful to watch, but they do that with my coaching, knowing that they're going to have to do the work to get there. But all that being said, like watching people like you, excuse me, as I kick things, watching people like you do what you're doing, no pressure to you, by the way, not at all, is so inspiring to me and to others who are following your journey. And even, I want you to know this, even on the days that you think that you are not doing enough, not far enough ahead, I know you're interrupting your own thoughts with this, but I'm going to interrupt them too for you. You are perfectly in alignment with where you're supposed to be right now. You're not in any place other than exactly where you're supposed to be, even on the days that you feel like you're not. And everything's just going to fall right where it should. Just keep knocking on the doors, keep opening those doors.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah. And that goes for you too. The woman listening right now thinking if you can do it, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Oh, here's a question for you. What is it like for you to now take on the role of coach?
It's funny. On one hand, it can be intimidating, but on the other, I realize, in many ways and always, it's always been, who I am. I've always gravitated into leadership roles through being so, enlivened back by just always cheering on and lifting other people up. And then, collaborating. The best coaches are collaborators as well, and collaborating in teams, whether it be dance team in high school, going to state competitions or running student council or theater ensemble and theater directing, all the way to coaching in my company. I've been a coach in my company, this whole time. So it's a bit of a different version of the coaching hat, but it's all under the same passion and eye of mine. So I am coming to the coaching through the speaking first, and then off of the speaking or spinning the programs and the group coaching initially. And I likely will do individual coaching as well, because this work can be so deliciously specific to individual lives and individual moments that I really, love digging my hands in. So it feels natural.
And that's awesome. And it does seem like a natural arc too. Cause and knowing you as a coach in with Stella and Dot, you're you blow it up. You're amazing. And, it just seems like, and just talking to you, it's like when I talk to people like you, when I talk to you specifically, but the fact that I can walk away feeling energized and excited about whatever the hell I was just talking about says a lot about you, who you are, and the energy that you're actually radiating. You actually lift up people in a room, even if you are having a hard time. People have said this to me too. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't even see it that way, but thank you. I'm like, okay, just you live from your heart, and it's a huge, huge step in the right direction for the planet. And I can't wait to meet more people like us that are actually doing this, that you actually walk away from with a sense of not only excitement, but hey, you know what? I can do it too. The world is my oyster, like that kind of thing. Like you see the potential in other people the way they might not see it. And I want to sit in on one of your groups when you have it open to not just, I don't know if you're just doing corporations or whatever now, but I would love to sit in on one of your groups. And you're even inspiring me right now, because I do group coaching, but I also focus mostly on one-on-one, because it is so dialed in and so specific, and there's a lot of energy changing happening. You've worked with me in a small scale, so you know that, but just dialing into the individual person, because I'm of the mind, if I can help this one person, that's enough for today, But when I get in a room full of people, I get so excited. It's like, oh, the energy is just so lovely. I love it. I just love all the different pops and the light bulbs going off across the room. So I think, I guess now that the mandates are coming down, people are going to start visiting, in groups again. Yay! Then we can do more of this. So talking about collaborators, I'm getting right on the spot. We're going to have to collaborate on something. I can see it. It's going to happen.
Absolutely.
We'll figure it out. Okay. So I have a few minutes left. I want to ask you what you, besides where do people reach out and find you? I'm going to ask you that first. Where do people find you?
Yep. The best way is through Instagram, probably, or my Facebook or my website.
Yes. Okay.
It's just ameliafelbinger.com.
I'll have the links also. So click her links below.
Yep. That's basically it. And Instagram is at Amelia Felbinger.
Okay.
So all of those are contactable.
Great. And then the last thing I wanted to ask you is, what do you want to talk about in the last couple of minutes here? What do you got?
Oh gosh. I mean, I could so dive into certain concepts of my work, but when I saw this question, I had the instinct to say that I want to give a testimonial to your work.
Oh.
In this time, I really think, we resonate on a lot of stuff, but, you really are a voice and a doorway that I see for entrepreneurs, for moms, for those who have struggled with alcoholism and health issues. It's like you so beautifully and wholly and gracefully check very important boxes. And some people may be all of those things, and some people may just be one thing, but the visionary you're a visionary healer. Also with all these brass tacks, tactile tools. And, you're just a prime liver of everything that you teach, which I think always makes the ultimate teacher.
Yeah.
So I have experienced some of your skills hands-on and look forward to many more, but it's, I just believe in your work 100%. And I'm very appreciative for this interview today.
Oh, you're welcome.
I can't wait to see what we both create individually and together in the coming years.
So first of all, the most giantest thank you from my heart. People who are watching, we did not plan that. I did not know that was coming. I'm just like in shock right now and like so in awe and like just loving every bit of it. Thank you so much for that. It was wonderful and beautiful. And I appreciate it. And yeah, I just am seeing like the vision of like that emoji with the mind blown. When you said what we can create together, because collaborators change the world, right? There's something really powerful. I think that's somewhere in the, I keep hearing you say the soup now, this delicious soup that we could create together. So anyway, we'll plan on that. Stay tuned, everyone, because, the world will know when it comes together. Trust me. Thank you so much, Amelia, for your time. I really appreciate it. One magnificent mompreneur to another. Have a beautiful day, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.